Jonathan Young. Order. I've called Jonathan Young.
Thank you. My question is to the Minister for Economic Development and asks, what recent reports has he seen on New Zealand's export performance?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, I've seen the recent Statistics New Zealand Overseas Merchandise Trade Report for the first quarter of this year. I'm pleased to announce to the House that March 2014 was a banner month for New Zealand exports. Exports rose 15% compared to March 2013, exceeding $5 billion in value for the first time.
They're not listening.
There was a trade surplus of $920 million, the highest ever for a March month.
News, but no
Indeed, in the March quarter, there was a trade surplus of $1.1 billion, the highest surplus for the series, and it was equating to a trade surplus in the last 6 months of almost $2.5 billion. Our current account deficit is now down to 3.4% of GDP. In 2008, it averaged over 8%, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, the recently rumoured export crisis seems to be about as big a problem as the much-talked-about manufacturing crisis.
Supplementary.
Supplementary. Supplementary question, Jonathan Young.
What is the government doing to grow new and existing markets for New Zealand exporters?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, as part of the government's comprehensive business growth agenda, we've set an ambitious target of increasing the ratio of exports to GDP from 30% to 40% by 2025. A big part of achieving that target is developing new and existing international markets for our goods and services. For example, trade between New Zealand and China has grown dramatically over the last 5 years. Trade Minister Tim Grosser has made excellent progress signing the ASEAN Australia-New Zealand FTA, overseeing development of trade between New Zealand and Chinese Taipei, advancing negotiations for the TPP and the comprehensive regional partnership and FTAs with India, Korea and the Gulf Cooperation Council. Mr. Speaker, when you're developing exports, there is no substitute for hard work, and certainly not fiddling around with KiwiSaver when you don't know what you're doing.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Jonathan Young.
To the Minister, what other reports has he seen on New Zealand's export performance?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I saw a report as recently as last evening from a commentator who suggested that New Zealand's positive export performance was down to just two industries, logs and dairy. I'm pleased to advise that commentator he is quite wrong. For example, the value of our high-tech manufacturing exports has grown from just $100 million in 1990 to $1.4 billion in 2012. Exports of IT services have increased 11% per year since 2002, and exports of computer and information services have increased 85% since 2006. And wine exports have increased from $300 million a year 10 years ago to over $1.3 billion in the year to March. Now, these are amazing achievements from these new and growing industries, and can I suggest to that commentator he go and see some of them rather than getting his information from that noted economic soothsayer David Parker.
Question number 5, Grant Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Justice.